So I recently finished watching Parasyte, and this anime is a masterpiece. Okay, so if you're new to this series, I basically go over series that I've watched recently, and I tell you why you should watch them and why you shouldn't watch them. There's no spoilers at all in these series. It's basically just an overview on whether you should spend your time watching it or not. So let's get into it. So, Parasyte. The first thing that I'm going to mention about Parasyte, and these are why you should watch it, I'll do why you shouldn't later on. Okay, so the first thing on why you should watch it is the story. The story is really good in this anime. I was always kept up with it. It's not too complicated that I can't keep up with it, but it's also not too simple that I can easily keep up with it. It keeps you right in the middle, and it's really... The story is about a boy named Izumi Shinji, and he comes across this parasite that tries to take over his whole body and his brain, but it only ends up taking up a part of his right hand. So this basically means that they have to form a friendship to survive together. This is one of the most interesting storylines I've ever seen in any anime, and they have to fight other parasites that have taken over the whole body of somebody else, and it's really interesting and it's definitely worth a watch. So that's the first thing that I really enjoyed about this. The next thing that I enjoyed about this is the animation is impeccable. It is really amazing. It's probably next to Tokyo Ghoul some of the best animation that was in 2014 overall. The action scenes were really well done. It was really fluent. It was easy to keep up with what was going on while also reading the subtitles. So if you didn't know, this anime is only subbed at the moment, it's not dubbed yet. While they're talking during the fighting and action scenes, it leaves enough time for you to figure out what they're saying down in the subtitles, and then they carry on fighting, and the way it does that is really fluent. It's really cool, and the frames per second on it, or the FPS, is like 60 frames per second depending on where you watch it, and it looks really great. And overall it's just a beautiful looking series, and that's just another reason on why you should watch it. So the next one is going to be like, it's fun and it's entertaining, it's humorous, and it keeps you laughing and it keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it's right there is what I usually look for in an anime, is for it to keep me laughing, to keep me emotional, to keep me entertained, and just to keep me overall having fun during the anime. That's one of the key parts for an anime to me, and this anime does it perfectly. It has the right amount of humour in each episode, it has the right amount of emotion in each episode. It's definitely worth checking out. And the last positive that I'm going to go over in this series, there is hundreds of positives that I could go over, but I'm just going to mention the few that were key to me. Okay, I had a bit of an interruption then, but it's alright. But the last thing that I want to mention is the music in this anime. Holy shit, is it good. The opening song, the OST, and the ending song, always, I never skip them. I love them so much. I'll probably put the OST like in the background of this video because that's how much I really like it. Even though it might get me a copyright strike, I love it so much. Like the short dubstep feeling to the OST, and the rock feeling to the opening, and then the nice calm feeling to the ending. It really mixes it up, and it shows that the show really cares about its music, and damn, it is really good. Some scenes without the music would have been shit. Like honestly, when on episode 18 something big happened in the story and the OST started playing in the background, and fucking hell, I just started tearing up because the OST is just honestly amazing. It's one of the best, if the best, OST I've ever seen in any anime, in my opinion, of course. So that's the positives of Parasyte the Maxim. So let's get into the negatives. Obviously the negatives are my opinion. If you don't like my negatives, I have to go over them, because as much as I don't like to say that this show has bad features in it, I mean it kind of does. Every show has bad features, you know. Not everything's perfect. Even Attack on Titan, Sword Art Online, two of my favourite shows, they have bad things about them, and I'm here to tell you the truth and not sugarcoat everything. So let's get into it. So there's only two bad things that I really want to go over, because I don't want to spoil this show for a lot of people, because I do want to tell the truth, but these are the two main things that I noticed. I mean, there is quite a few bad things about the show. I mean, I wouldn't call them bad, of course, but okay, anyway, let's get into it. So some of the characters had pretty bad development. I mean, Shinji's girlfriend, she didn't have good development like at all. I mean, Shinji obviously cares about her, but he doesn't show that he cares about her a lot. So that's one of the things that really annoyed me, that he doesn't spend enough time with his girlfriend. I know obviously he's got other problems, like, I don't know, having a parasite on his hand, but I mean, it's just one of those things that I feel like they could have done more of with the series, and definitely would have put it higher up on my romancy like list. So his girlfriend were one of the character problems that I had. And the next one is that Izumi was he was pretty boring. I mean, I'm gonna come out and say it, he was pretty boring, just like Kirito and Sword Art Online. I mean, I'm obviously not hating on the show, it's one of my favourite shows of all time, but Izumi is he's pretty boring. I mean, there's nothing really that fun about him. I mean, obviously he's gonna be depressed and all that, but compared to a main character on a show like Fairy Tail, I know it's hard to compare them, but say Natsu on Fairy Tail, he's a really great main character. He's one of the best main characters, and he's always so hyped about everything. So then it comes to Izumi, and even when something bad happens, he barely cares. I mean, it kind of does explain that in the story. He could show some emotion. I mean, I've heard in the manga he shows more emotion in the manga, like it goes into his inner thoughts. That's just one of the two bad things that I want to go over. I mean, obviously I'm not hating on the show, I like the show a lot. It's definitely in my top 10 of all time. That's all the positives and negatives that I'm going to go over in this video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, enjoy your day, and definitely watch this series. I recommend it to pretty much anybody. So enjoy your day, I'm out, peace.